How's it going, everybody? Welcome to TrendSpider Live. My name is Mike, and we are here today with the legend himself, Ripster, creator of the Ripster EMA Clouds. How are you doing today, man?
Hey, Mike. Hello, everyone. Nice to be here.
Yes.
Excited, wrap the last few big earnings of our earnings season going into holidays. Been pretty insane, right? Everybody's watching today's earning with what Oracle did yesterday. All eyes
Yep,
are on AVGO. So let's see.
absolutely.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me, and love to see that TrendSpider is doing some amazing things. Now all our clouds are there. Brand new scanners are there. It's
Yeah,
going to be
no,
fun.
absolutely. Yeah, speaking of that, before we get into the earnings, maybe we can just talk about that a little bit. Just today, if you guys look at the Ripster Cloud collection page on the TrendSpider store, we published a couple scans today. I'll show you guys a couple of the results, but it's basically going to find stocks bouncing off green clouds, as you can see, the 3450 1 hour clouds. So if you just run through a couple of these, you can see, CRM has bounced off these green clouds on the 1 hour a couple times. So pretty
Yes.
nice scan right there.
So we're building few scans on TrendSpider. This one is 1 hour MTF bounce and 1 hour
Yeah.
MTF rejections.
Yep.
If you see this morning, if you want to go to what was it, Tesla?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see for Tesla. Um, let's go back. Yeah, you see that Tesla broke down from the MTF clouds. That was the morning short. So if you can find a scanner and if it pops up on your scanner, you can easily take those kind of setups. And
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think which one was it? Was it PLTR, which was a
PLTR.
long?
Yeah.
Yeah. So look at that. So PLTR we were short in the morning once it was dumped under the 1 hour MTF cloud. The scanner picked it up. Although I watch the tickers all day. But if you're not watching it and your scanner pops up, PLTR, that was your long right there on a nice cup and handle, nice
Yeah.
mid deckel. So definitely, even after we have these earnings and the earnings reports, anything under the clouds, definitely super bearish. It dumps. There is insane flash. Go to Oracle.
Yeah.
Then we'll
Take a
talk
look at
about.
Oracle for sure. Is
Yeah,
pretty
less.
crazy move.
You see that what I did yesterday after earnings.
Yep.
So I got some DMs today. A lot of traders were trying to buy dips on Oracle. We don't buy the dips when something like this happens.
It's under all
That's
the clouds, right?
yeah. It's a big breakdown of those under those clouds.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what we are watching today. Watching how AVGO, Costco,
Yeah.
Lulu.
Yeah. So let's take a look. I think, of course, AVGO is going to be the biggest earnings announcement today. Kind of busted through the cloud earlier this morning or kind of the mid afternoon. It was kind of trading below it. Now it's been a little choppy today. It's coming back down to test the cloud right now. I
Yeah,
thought Costco is kind of interesting
yeah.
today
About
on
the
the cloud.
AVGO, it's
So
all about the 400 level, right?
the
If it
400,
if it breaks that and same time it breaks the 1 hour, then it's going back to that 390, 380s. So
right down
hopefully
there.
yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen for the sake of all the semiconductor investors, because Lord is riding on AVGO.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we go to the next one, the revenue I'm looking to see a revenue at least 17.5 billion at least. If the EPS is close to $2, that'll be insane. So yeah.
For sure. Let's see. I actually threw in a Sidekick prompt today to see what Sidekick has to say about them. Starting with AVGO here, one, you can see it's obviously a very big name. It's over $1 trillion market cap. Doesn't get nearly as much attention, I would say, as like something like NVIDIA, of course, and like Palantir, but it's a very, very important company. Of course, anything over $1 trillion is going to be huge. And of course, as you can see in the earnings widget here, they've been growing earnings, their revenue, and their EPS really consistently, all those green bars. So definitely need a beat, of course. And so you said you were looking for like anything above 17 billion, Rip.
17.5 billion
Yeah,
or at least 17.445 billion.
got
um
it.
EPS growth was 31%. It's when company is such a $1 trillion company, the growth of EPS to maintain that growth, it's huge. It's a lot of
Yeah.
expectations. The last time the earnings grew by 31%, the revenue grew by 24%. So if you can
Mhm.
keep growing at the same rate or a little higher rate, Yeah, AVGO is going higher over 400. A slight miss, um, and less growth means that AI demand is slowing down or something like that.
Yeah.
If their backlog is less, backlog is a huge thing in all these artificial intelligence names. Last time they had 110 billion backlog. That's why when they went crazy. So we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see what happens here. But that's AVGO. Of course, we have Costco.
Yeah.
Costco has Costco has been a monster, one of the best trading names, but last couple of earnings, it has been on a downtrend. Ever since it hit that $1,000, Costco has been on a downtrend. So
It
let's see
has.
here. Yeah,
I got the weekly chart open right here of Costco. Has
the,
definitely been, on the downtrend. It is coming down to some recent support right here around what, like this, pretty much where it's at, like 872 right here. I can draw
yeah,
like sort of like a line, a horizontal line in the sand right there.
yeah.
Like this kind of support level here. So it's pretty important day for Costco today. You got earnings and sitting at this pretty major support level. So it should be
Yeah,
interesting to see what
definitely a good
happens.
support level, and it's also trying to reclaim bullish 1 hour chart. That
Yeah.
885 level is a very important level. So we are looking for a revenue at least 67 billion. Remember, Costco is it's all about margins. They do the bulk
Yes.
orders. The
Hmm.
margins are small, so that's what will matter. And the increase in membership, more members signing up, that's how they make money. So that's what we are looking for. Definitely looking for more than 67 billion. 70 billion will be insane. Looking for $4.20 on EPS. Their EPS is growing at 6%. It's a retail, it's fine. Revenue is
Yeah.
growing at 8%. If there's a solid green increase in revenue and growth, look for Costco to go back to $1,000. If not,
$1,000.
slight miss, and then we are going back. We don't want to break that 870, 885.
Yeah.
I would want to be buying it under that. I will only buy it if it's hold this 880 area after hours. So yeah, so that's
Yeah.
Costco.
Yeah. Now it's breaking above this cloud as we speak. Of course, we have the market closing here in 8 minutes. So
Yeah,
we'll see what happens, but is at a very interesting level because it
it's a
did
cup. It's
previously
also
reject.
like some tiny little cup and handle, you can call
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. A little bit, right? It's just had the
They're buying
breakout
it into the earnings. I usually don't like this when they buy things like this into the earnings. It creates a lot of FOMO in
for
traders, and they
sure.
buy those OTM
Yeah. Could
the
be tough
calls.
buying into earnings for sure.
Yeah,
But decent look going into
yeah.
the
Well,
market close.
investors don't have anything to worry about. The long-term investors, they're still up over the last few years.
Yeah.
It's all about I often talk about the psychological aspect behind any earnings, right? Any investor who's invested and he's up for the lifetime, even if it means he's down for last 6 7 months, they will not sell if it makes a new high. They have no reason to sell. But any stock like Lulu, now that's a problem. If Lulu, which has been trading at lows and been a bag holder stock since start of this year,
Yeah.
you know, any investor who invested in April 2020 is flat.
Right.
So if
Yeah.
Lulu breaks this, better hold it. If it had to bad earnings and break this support, then there's a downward spiral on a lot of these names. So charts is key. Whenever you're trading earnings, the daily chart is a key. If you can go, we will come back to this. We still have 7 minutes. Go to this chart, PL. PL.
PL. Yep.
All right. So you see that PL is an all-time high. Every investor coming into
Yep.
yesterday's earning is green. He has no reason to sell. So post earnings, breakout, long, good for investors, goes higher in coming days. We were trading it in the. It's also a space stock. It's also a space stock. So since SpaceX is going IPO next year, so there's a lot of bullishness in this sector. We were trading Rocket Lab, big winner for us today.
Nice.
We are on ASTS, but since I'm talking about PL, post earnings, all-time high, consolidation breakout, good long. So no, there's no chart like that right now. I mean, only chart like that is probably AVGO. So yeah, so AVGO, if it's a good earnings, it's
Yeah.
going, because there is no reason, nobody's bag holder in that. Everybody's green. So if it's good earnings and it's gonna go to like probably 450, So AVGO is only, if you go to the daily chart, I can show you the traders what I'm talking about. So if you look at it, there's no bag holders there. So you have to
Yeah.
think it in this way. Is why would somebody sell? If you're an investor, why would you sell? The only reason you would sell if his earnings are too bad and you think, okay, maybe AI is slowing down. But it wouldn't fall too much. It wouldn't fall crazy like Oracle did,
Right.
because most of the investors are still profitable. So you have to think that way. So it's consolidating right there. If they beat earnings, if they really show amazing backlog, the bullish setup is there. So I'll better have a bullish setup going into this rather than a bearish setup, because on the bearish setup, there's a lot of support down under and it's a bullish chart into the earnings. So that's always what I have been teaching for earning plays, which is an A plus earning. And the daily weekly chart is very important, where the chart is trading going into the earnings.
Yeah, makes sense. So basically looking for stuff basically in uptrends, right? Trading above the MTF clouds here. And the thing about the MTF clouds, the multi-time frame clouds, is that no matter which time frame that you're on, it's going to be the same levels across all of them, right? So you're going to have the longer term levels, even if you're on like the 10-minute chart, which is really cool. Really cool. I really like the idea that taking multiple time frames and putting them on, a single chart, because the reason for that, assume, right, is because these longer term levels are more significant, right, than just like a 10-minute level, for example. He's in the chat saying it's AVGO's best week of the year, by the way, seasonality wise, which is an interesting stat there as well.
Yeah, it's 400.
What is going on, everybody out there in the chat? If you guys are in these plays, let us know in the chat right now. By the way, you guys bullish or bearish on Broadcom here, on Lulu, Costco? Let's take a look. We did talk about Lulu a bit ago. It is kind of consolidating today, but it is, again, trading above all three of the MTF clouds.
Yeah, I mean, Lulu, it's a nice base. You see that? It's a nice base. Yeah. If I have to draw a chart pattern, it's a nice basing, a rectangular base. So it has the technical setup to go back to 200. You see that? If you can draw a rectangle there, it's a up, down. Yeah. So you see they go up, down. It's definitely setup is there. And if the earnings are good and it stays over 180 after the earnings, it's going to be a good swing. You stops at 180, you take it higher. Now, for anybody who bought the dips on Lulu, 163 or 165, he has enough buffer. But if Lulu is again, I'm hitting Lulu. If Lulu does bad earnings again, then yeah, that break of 180 to 160 won't be good. So
yeah, no, it's an interesting setup there on the clouds for sure. Yeah. You can see green cloud just formed, and it's trading now basically just right at all the clouds. So,
and the good thing about the cloud system is the MTF clouds, you don't even have to come to the daily chart, right? You can just trade on 10-minute chart. Let's go at 5-minute, 1 minute, doesn't really matter. You can see where your support levels are.
Exactly.
Right. So that's the beauty of our MTF cloud setup. It's been chopping today. It's been range bound intraday as well. A lot of volume.
Yeah, a lot of it coming in right now. We got just 2 minutes until the market closes. And yeah, the MTF clouds, if you guys are using it, by the way, you can go to the indicator settings right here, and you can actually change all the time frames. By default, that's what, Rip uses them on, the 60 and the daily You got the 1 hour 3450, the daily 2021, and the daily 50 and 55 EMAs.
And you can change whatever you want. Let's go to Qs. If we have 50 seconds here. So this morning, the reason we were short Qs, it's right in front of you. You see that?
Yep.
Right. So we need to know like what our system tells us. Our system tells us that it's bearish. Nvidia is selling off in the first 30 minutes. You take a short right at the open. Your target is the lower MTF. So it's always a magnet setup. You hit from MTF to MTF, and the 10 a.m. you cover. But then you see that how it came right back to the MTFs and then pushed over that. So just wanted to show the power of MTF clouds. We did a webinar last week. It should be on a TrendSpider page, the webinar.
Yeah. It is, yeah. So if you
There
guys
the
use the
link.
links down below, you can see it as well. You can view all the indicators on the TrendSpider store, and then also the webinar that we did that Ripster is leading.
Yeah, my webinar is there. That reminds me, I still need to. I'll probably do a giveaway on TrendSpider this weekend.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
great. Sounds great. Let's go back to these intraday charts right now because the market is about to close. Make sure I get all of these.
If you want to see the detailed research preview of earnings after the earnings, go to our one of our Twitter accounts, Tenet Research. You can
Okay.
read all of those research, preview research on all of these names, like we did this morning on AVGO, we did on Lulu and Costco. So if you are an investor, always good to go to our Tenet Research and review it.
Yeah, awesome. Sounds great. Yeah, Ripster's socials are down in the description below as well for you guys to check them out. But it looks like the market is just closing right now. And we got all the 1 minute charts up on the screen with the MTF cloud. So let's see what kind of movements we're going to get here. I believe a lot of these are reporting, like 5-10 minutes after the bell, but we might get some initial movement. We got Lulu moving up just a little bit. But for the most part, looks like it's the calm before the storm right now. Let me double check the exact times. We got Broadcom reporting 15 minutes after the bell, Costco reporting 15 after the bell, and also Lulu. So Lulu's reporting 5 minutes after the bell.
Okay. So when is AVGO?
15 in about 15, like 14 minutes now.
All right. We still have some time. That's good.
Yeah. But
so let's see, AVGO.
Got it right up here at the top left chart. Again, trading above the MTF clouds that you can see there. It looks like they're mostly, we got Lulu and AVGO above the 1 hour clouds you can see right here. We got RH is actually reporting as well, I believe. Yeah, RH is trading below the clouds. Costco right at it. So
AVGO doesn't provide, may not provide FY fiscal year 26 outlook. Okay, we'll see. We need their guidance, guys. We need their guidance.
Yeah, very important.
It's always sure. If they don't give it, it's.
And we'll be able to analyze it all with Sidekick as soon as the numbers come out. We'll take a look at all of them and see what's going on. But the price action will always come first before probably a lot of people see the numbers. Let's see. And if you guys are just joining in, thank you guys for joining. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. As we go into earnings right here, we got Ripster on, creator of the EMA Clouds. Make sure to check him out using the links down below as well. Currently, we have Broadcom, AVGO, Costco, Lulu, and RH all up on the charts with the Ripster Clouds. Just waiting to see what happens as the earnings come in shortly. We should get a movement on Lulu first since it's reporting in just
Can you turn
minutes.
on those the 10-minute clouds if you have time?
Let me see.
Yeah, EMA Clouds by Ripster. Yeah, there should be somewhere here.
I think. Are you talking about these ones? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. They're missing a few settings on this one. That's good enough. Okay.
Let's stick these on here. Yeah, the MA clouds as well. The OG clouds, as I think you call them.
Yeah, the OG clouds. Yeah. I think we don't have them there.
They're on the platform. They're like built in, so they're not on like your actual store page, but you can get them. And yeah, these should these are 1 minute clouds. That's why I put up the 1 minute chart so we can see how all the price action is moving as it drops with the earnings. But yeah, if we did put on the 10 minutes, that MA cloud would be.
Yeah, the 10-minute 512, 3450. Those are the two clouds.
Gotcha.
And we have 8, 9, a few more.
Yeah. And yeah, with these Ripster clouds, you actually can add more right here. So what are you talking about? The 10-minute? Which one?
Oh, no. Yeah, I mean, you can add. Yeah, actually, you can do that. 3450.
Okay, 10-minute 3450.
Yeah, because you don't have the OG ones on, so you can use that.
Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10 minutes, 34.50.
Yeah, so they will do it. Yeah, that's good. So you are on a 1 minute time frame. Yeah, see
This
see
is the
that's
1
the
minute.
other beauty of the MTF clouds. You can be on a 1 minute or 3 minute time frame, and you can, here we go, Lulu.
Yep,
All right,
Lulu is moving up. Now it's moving down. Oh,
let's see.
falling through the chart here.
Oh, CEO stepping down.
CEO
Lulu,
stepping down.
yep.
Wow,
So let's
that
see
is
the earnings.
not good.
CEO stepping down on Lulu, but what about the earnings?
Testing
But
slower.
his is a
Okay.
succession plan. I guess it's normal. But
Let's
who's the
see. Yeah,
next CEO?
that was about not too crazy of a drop. About 3% drop there. Oh, it's continuing down pretty good though. Look at that.
Yeah. That's breaking those MTF clouds right there.
Yep, right there at that. It.
Yeah, usually that's what we do. We short it, and fast when it breaks that
Ooh,
back
look
up.
at that. Bounce right
Here
off
it
those
comes.
lower clouds.
No, the earnings came out now. Initially, it was the CEO.
Wow. Insane movement so far. Insane. We got a 3% drop. Then from that drop, we're up 12%. Wow. Back right around the 200 mark.
So they released the CEO step down first, then they released the earnings.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
the initial drop was on CEO, and then they
Yeah.
dropped the earnings right away.
Wow.
Let me see how they did. Let's take a look here. Lulu. Now your sidekick gets the data right away, or does it take some time?
Let's take a look. It gets it pretty quick. Let me double check and put on our news widget because the news widget will hit and then it should be able to. Yeah, it just got it right now. Lululemon. Looks like guidance from 77 to 1292. Looks like improved guidance on EPS, raises sales guidance as well. Lululemon sees EPS. Yeah, so it looks like double beat. Let me put in a prompt so I have Sidekick do
1 billion share buyback. So that's the thing.
Oh,
1
wow.
billion share buyback. That's huge. 2.6 billion revenue on Lulu. That's big. That's big because the last time the same quarter they did 2.36 billion. So they did 2.6 billion. So that's increase of that 300 million there. So that's the growth. That's the revenue growth we were looking for, and they got it. And let's look at the EPS. That's what's the EPS coming in at.
It's like 259 beats 227 is what I'm seeing, and sales 2.56 beats 2.48. So double beat, raise guidance. Looking great, looking really good. It looks like 14% beat EPS.
Yeah, so this makes Lulu good. Now it has a base. It's a base setup. So investors should be looking for that pullback. Any pullback, they have 185 risk right there for the long setup. But do they have a call? Let's see here.
They probably do.
Yeah, so it reclaimed the MTF clouds, became bullish right away, flushed down. Look where it dipped to. You see the lows of those candles, right? Yep. So this is even works on futures and everything. So that held, and then the EPS revenue, it flushed up. So well, that's good. The one down. We'll be watching.
One down.
Tomorrow. Ideally, you want to see that whenever you see the post earnings. If you play the post earnings, we usually play sometimes in community. You don't want to see pullback more than a 50% retracement. If Lulu is high here, I don't want to see Lulu to come back. And also you can go to the clouds, and clouds will tell you where they are, like a 10-minute clouds. So I don't want to see Lulu pull back more than 193 from where it started. And then slowly you will see the clouds forming on 3-minute chart as well, which you can use. It's all about 200. So tomorrow, if Lulu stays over 200, that'll be a long. If it stays under 200, then you have to let it pull back. So the
Yep.
trading range will be over 200. So, okay. So Lulu
Nice.
is good.
Now, it looks like I'm actually seeing Sidekick. It looks like EPS guidance. EPS guidance was a miss, and it says revenue guidance was a miss too, but I'm not sure. Oh, that's so fiscal year 2025 guidance raised, but Q4 fiscal year 2025 guidance was disappointing.
Yeah. So the 1 billion stock buyback, that's
Yeah,
even bigger news, right?
that's huge.
So that's a bigger news because they are doing that buyback, and the
Yep.
revenue growth is not crazy, but it is there. 7%, right? 300 million that we just talked about.
Yep.
But at least something, at least they did not miss. The revenue didn't drop.
Yep. Pretty solid earnings all around. I mean,
Yeah.
a $1
I
billion
don't
buyback is
I don't
pretty
know why
good.
they had to release the CEO step down first,
That was
give us.
weird.
Yeah, I mean, they just dropped it and then they released the earnings.
It is interesting, but luckily, there wasn't any momentum built down there, and it quickly regained after the actual numbers dropped. Let's take a look at my multi-chart view, see if we got any other movements going on. Not quite yet, but we should get all
The
these
big
other
one.
earnings in about 4 minutes.
All right. So you see the clouds developing on there on Lulu. So
Yep.
you want to see this area hold, this zone hold.
Yep. Absolutely.
Usually when I'm looking for, if when we are trading after hours, we are looking for a flag to build. We are not looking like for this one, we need to see a hold at 195 and 193s, no lower than that, because then it's too much downtrend. The concept of the flag is gone. So watch out, if you're trading it, watch out this hold of 195s and then there's 193s.
Yep.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens here, especially when the call comes out. You never know. It looks like it's starting to pull back a little bit right now, but definitely we'll have to wait for the call, and then also how it opens tomorrow, of course, as well.
Yeah, tomorrow the plan is simple. Closer to 200, we long it over 200.
Nice.
And the pre-market high will be 203, unless of course they come into there's a call, there's a conference call, and they say something magical,
Yeah.
and then it goes crazy.
Yep. Always a
Yeah.
chance. It's bouncing
Yeah.
off these newly formed clouds right now.
Yeah, the 195. So yeah, we usually trade it. We usually trade in community if it's a really good earnings. We usually trade them. Especially it has to be like yesterday. I told everyone do not long, do not touch it long. I mean, that Oracle gives everybody a lesson that nothing is too low. The the dips become deeper, right? So I have seen
Yeah.
so many people destroy themselves in earning plays. You
Yeah.
know, trade.
Definitely. You got to be
Yeah,
really careful playing earnings, especially if
yeah,
you're playing specifically for the earnings. Like,
yeah.
it can be a crapshoot
Well,
sometimes.
I'm very against playing earning lottos. It's complete no for me, and neither do I let anybody do that under my guidance. But you trade leverage ETFs, you trade like you trade right now. You trade after hour earnings. Doesn't mean you have a small account. You can trade shares, um, you know, 30 shares, 50 shares, whatever makes sense to you. On a name like Lulu. Okay, so you see that bounce we just talked about from that 195. So if you're trading it right now, the 195 is your clear level. So that's your stop. And now if we break that 200, we're going to push back towards the pre-market highs. If you see
Yep.
that, so you see this was the flag I was talking about.
Yeah.
So, and I want to see push over 200. I want to see this candle maintain its higher lows, higher highs, and those clouds are helping us. How they're coming up.
Yeah, for sure. It's sitting right there exactly at like that 200 level right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, tomorrow is a lot of Friday. I wouldn't mind for our traders who trade options to give us a good setup.
yeah, no,
Now
100%.
if it breaks 200 and breaks 203s, then Lulu is back on track. So we don't want to see a lower high either. We got a 4 points right from that 195. So, anyways, so we are waiting for our next, the big one.
Yep. It should be any minute now. It's
You can,
14 minutes after. Let's see what happens.
if you like to trade AVGO, do not mess. Of course, the market is closed now. Do not mess with the options glottos. Trade leverage ETF, SOXL, SOXS. Um, AVGO is a big part of the semiconductor indicator. The index.
Yes.
So
Oh,
here we go. Oh
woo.
boy, oh boy,
Wow.
there we go.
Oh,
No, what's okay? Let's see. Let's check the earnings. Let's see what's going on here. 400 held. That's huge. 400 hold is
yeah.
huge. I don't even need to
Exactly.
see the earnings. I know that 400 is holding, and now it's going to push higher. It's that all-time high
Woo-hoo.
breakout. That's the breakout we discussed before the earnings. You know, so
Let's
that's the
pull it up
breakout.
over here.
Yeah, yeah. That's your breakout. But let's analyze the earnings now that AVGO has held the clouds pretty nicely, held 400 pretty nicely. Every investor is green on AVGO. Nobody has a reason to sell. There is no anything bearish on AVGO. So any dip to 400 is a buy, but let me analyze the earnings. It hasn't come to me yet. Let me see
I
if I
don't
can
see.
find
Oh,
it.
I see him now. Broadcom adjusted EPS 195 beats the 186 estimate. Sales beat at a little bit over 18 billion. So double beat.
What's the sales?
Sales 18.015 billion.
18.0, that is insane. 18.05 billion.
Yep, that's what
That
I'm seeing.
is insane.
Yeah, love to see it.
That is a 25% of revenue growth. What is the EPS?
EPS buck 95, 1.95.
That is insane too.
Yeah,
That's
that is
year over
insane.
year growth. So year over year growth on AVGO is amazing, right? So that's why you see this big push, big swipe right over that. Now the key thing is the comments on the backlogs, the capex on AI, right? So that is the something which we will see the move after the conference call. But this was exactly what I was talking about. If you joined us earlier at 3:45, this was exactly the move I was talking about over the 400 when you're trading over that um, all-time high consolidation breakout. Now for AVGO, if I look at it, for us to see a continued trend, we need to let's take a look here on AVGO.
And it looks like, by the way, we see guidance raised Q1 sales of 19.1 billion versus the 18.269 billion analyst estimate. So
This is
increased
their
guidance as well.
this is the highest revenue ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they've been increasing
By a lot.
sequentially from 14 billion, 15 billion, 17.5. If you remember, I was saying I need something over 17.5
Yep.
billion, and we got what is it?
Over
18
18.
billion,
Yeah.
28% EPS growth, 37%. Sorry, 37% EPS growth, 28% revenue growth for a $1 trillion company. Insane.
Yeah.
This is insane.
And if you guys are just joining in, we are using the TrendSpider platform here with the Ripster MTF Clouds. Make sure to check out the TrendSpider sale right now. You can get a trial of the platform and use these Ripster Clouds for free just by importing the indicator from the TrendSpider store. We'll have the links down below in the description if you want to check them out. And if you guys have any questions, the actual creator of the EMA Clouds, these Ripster Clouds, is here with us today, Ripster himself. So leave him down in the chat below if you do have any questions.
And we do have our webinar on my page. Do you have the link of my page on TrendSpider?
Yes, I will drop it in the chat right now.
All right.
The collection page.
So AVGO guys, you don't want to see it break under that 415 level. That's your level you want to hold. 415, 416 for a continued trend. Otherwise, it's going to pull back more towards 412. But anything 400, yeah, that's the base right now.
Let's see what else is going on here. Looks like we got Costco pretty much died right here to that little support level that I drew there at 872 earlier, and it's bouncing off of it for now. You can take a look. Let's see. But yeah, AVGO looks amazing. So now let's take a look at Costco and see what's going on over here because it doesn't look as good. But let's see. Costco EPS beat, sales beat, And then we also got Costco quarter 1 comparable sales increased by 6.4%. So we got a double beat over here on Costco, but price is down a little
All
bit
right.
in after
What is the
hours.
earnings? What's the earnings on Costco? What's
Yeah, it's 450 for the EPS, beating 427, and then 67.3 billion sales, beating 67.13 estimate. So very
yeah.
kind of small increase there.
Yeah, but it's the earnings are not bad. They are still doing the same that they did last year. They grew the EPS at 11%, revenue grew at 8% year over year. It's nothing out of the world, but the key thing to read there is their margins and their membership growth, because there's no doubt Costco earnings are good, but you also have to understand that Costco has been an insane rally last few years. Insane rally. You talk about Nvidia, look at Costco. Look at the Costco daily chart. So investors are looking for something more, right?
Yeah.
There are companies who are doing 40, 50% revenue EPS growth. And Costco, it's a value. I call it as a value stock, right? Um, of
Yeah.
course, in 2 years it's going to be higher, but they need to show something there, because if we break this 875, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
Whenever you
100%.
invest, always look at, I always teach you guys, always look at how the earnings are growing, how the profits are growing, the revenue is growing. You want both of them grow sequentially, both of them grow year over year, and you don't want to see that the company doesn't mess up their earnings with some, they sold something, they put it into the EPS, like Oracle did yesterday. They sold something, the $1 billion they added into their earnings. So you have to analyze all that, and any stock that's growing its earning at 30% at least, or revenues at 30%, is of course insane. But when the company goes to $1 trillion level, you know at that the growth is slow. Nvidia is an exception, but only Nvidia, which still grows crazily even at that level.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, Costco is no go. It's a short. It's the MTF short right now, because it broke the MTFs. That was a no go right away.
Yeah.
And now it's breaking the other MTF. It's breaking a key level in that. We will analyze the earnings in detail. I'm waiting for more data on Costco.
Yeah. I'm sending it to Sidekick as well. Let's take a look here.
I
But
think
yeah.
I think whatever we analyzed in the pre-market session, that's acting out. We were talking about this support on Costco, and it's breaking down there. So MTF Cloud, Costco dipped under that, and testing a support. And
Yeah.
then let's go to AVGO again.
Mm-hmm.
So
This is the
the
daily chart here
yeah,
with the
10-minute
after
chart.
hours.
Yeah. So AVGO is holding the breakout. You see it's over the MTF clouds.
Yep.
Let's go back to Lululemon. Then I'll let you do that. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
All right. So Lululemon is holding 200, right? So you see that the trend system tells you where the buyers and sellers are, who is in control. The buyers are in control of Lulu right now. It's getting out of the base. It's a good investing long name because it has a defined risk. If I'm ready to risk these $10, $20, I'm looking for Lulu to keep growing good earnings. I mean, I don't want it to be a bad earnings next quarter. And then I'm looking to, if I'm risking $20, I should at least make $40. If a long-term investor, then I just should make double of what I'm risking, not double, many times. So anyways, so that's hopefully, so that was our Lulu. Holding 200 should get the push higher.
Yeah. No, it looks great. I mean, if you were to play this, based on these MTF clouds, you're trading pretty much right at support right here. So like, yeah, your
Yeah.
risk, if you set your stops under those, it's pretty low. And then you have a lot of upside potential here. So
Let's go to the 5-minute or 10-minute chart, because since we are using the MTFs, you could see that as soon as it pushes over, if you're trading that, or you could long it if you get in pretty fast, like you can trade on chart, on VBull or whatever. We trade it all the time. So you can get in, and that MTFs is your support, and you hold your shares as long as MTF is there. So you always do small size after hours, and you do limit orders. Of course, it's limit orders too, but you see this is the thing, right? I would not short it. So if you are a noob, you will try to short it. You will think, oh no, but we wouldn't short it over the old MTF clouds.
Yeah.
Now I would try to short Costco as long as it's under those clouds on the pops, but I would not short Lulu. So
Yep.
let's say I will try to short it as long as under these clouds. But if it pushes over the clouds, I will not short it. If it pushes, let's say it pushes over 84, it can go to 890. So I'm not going to mess with that short. But if it is heavy, rejects there, maybe I will short it. But the point I'm trying to make is the comparison between a bullish move and the bearish move. So Costco
Yep.
tomorrow, for us to long it, it has to get back over 883, stay there, and so that we can use this level as our risk. But it also has a lot of resistance above 892s, 898s. And if
Yep.
it breaks 883, then we'll short it. But you see what's happening right now on Costco, the daily level that Mike was showing you, that's where it's bouncing from. Quick daily view there, Mike. Look at
Yep.
that.
Right
So
there.
so support and resistance, guys, is not a myth. You need to draw those lines on your chart. Trading views draws them, has a lot of AI tools as well. It helps you analyze it better. Sorry, TrendSpider has it, so you can
Yeah.
draw it. I went into the wrong platform. They don't have
No
this
worries.
AI tools. So TrendSpider has these AI tools which draws things for you and helps you with those setups. Can you go to weekly chart on this, Lulu?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, this is Costco. Or do you want to see Costco or Lulu?
Oh yeah, sorry, Costco.
Yeah,
Costco.
yeah, yeah. It's the
So
weekly.
go to a bigger time frame. You see how, and then you can clearly see the support. If I'm an investor or if I'm a swing trader, I will risk that 873 area, even though it's intraday bearish. I will give it a short if I like the stock, right? But I would rather trade something else. But if you were if you like this, um, you know, Costco, so see how many times same level: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, many times.
Yeah. I always
So,
say for an investor, you need to be a chartist first. You can't, if you want to be an efficient investor. Yes, if you don't care about drawdowns, if you are down on a stock for 2 years and you don't care about it, that's fine with me. But I want to be an efficient investor. So I need to have a good charting knowledge so I can make efficient decisions, like the way what, let's now we can go back to the Lulu discussion we were having there.
mhm,
So so
absolutely, yeah.
TrendSpider draws some of those lines, right? It's pretty clean, the box. Can you draw the box there, Mike?
Yeah, yeah, this one right here.
Yeah.
If we
It,
go, yeah.
it doesn't go to that one.
You can here. Let me. So if you actually right click on any of your drawings on TrendSpider, go to properties, should be able to. Oh, I guess this one. Yeah, it usually does, but you can draw here too. So it was
Yeah.
pretty much like right there.
Yeah. So you see that this is a consolidation breakout. If Lulu stays over that, holds 200, next breakout is 207, then we are looking for this next line right over here. So start drawing those lines, guys. It's easy. Once you draw those lines, go back. TrendSpider lets you go back as far as you want. Even you can go to a monthly chart. Just
Yeah,
can you zoom out more? You
see on the
just go
monthly
back,
here.
right? As an investor, the bigger time frame doesn't matter. The support is from 2020. Doesn't matter it's from 2021. Learn to draw those things.
Yeah, I
So
mean we have the anchored VWAPs here from 2009, and it's pretty much in
beautiful.
play. Or this one here is from like 2014 even, and we're sitting right there at an anchored VWAP, which is interesting as well. And then we
Yeah,
have the all-time high anchored VWAP. Could use that maybe as like your price target, even if you wanted,
yeah.
if you're trying to break out above these clouds. And you see the clouds are lining up with the anchored VWAP as
You guys
well.
have also. I mean, you can use a lot of things. You can use volume profile. You guys have volume profile
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah, of course, yeah,
Yeah. So you can use volume profile, volume gaps. Stick with something. Traders usually, they try something, it works few times, it doesn't work, they jump around, right? So let me explain these volume profiles as well. So you see there's a volume gap there. If it pushes over that, where's a volume gap, it's going to act like a vacuum, it's going to push higher over that.
yeah.
So
This
use
volume gap,
yeah
yeah.
so use whatever makes sense to you. I like to clean my charts clean, just my clouds, and sometimes I use volume profile, Fibonacci's. You can draw a Fibonacci. How's your Fibonacci tool, Mike? Let's show them your
Yeah,
Fibonacci
it's
tool.
great. Let me hide some of this so we can see it a little bit better. We're actually covering a lot of Fibonacci's yesterday with our other guest, Trading Wars. Whoops, that was position tool. Hold on.
Yeah, let's go to let's show them the AVGO. When I
Okay.
told, so what did I tell you? Where what level it needs to hold? It goes to the smaller time frame. Mike, sorry, I'm jumping around, but this
No,
is
you're good. You're good.
let's go to the 10-minute chart.
Let's do it.
All right, take the Fibonacci on AVGO, draw it from where the candle started. after the earnings. You see that's the
After
first.
earnings,
Yeah,
like up
yeah,
here
yeah,
to
up
what, down
here.
here?
Yeah. Not down here. Go up. We only wanna. Yeah. So this, you see that. So that's what I wanted to see. You can even draw to the candle. I wanted to see how much pullback AVGO is having. So if you are trading after hours. So I just talked to you guys about 415 level. Why did I talk about 415 level? Because 415 level was a 50% retracement move right after the earnings came up. Very clean Fibonacci's, Mike. Like
Ah,
it.
thank you, thank you.
So you see that how it held those levels. So if I'm trading after hours now, which a lot of my traders are trading it in our community, we that's our risk. That told us that AVGO is holding and AVGO is gonna bounce from there. And again, no hindsight. I talked about that 415 level, right, Mike?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did mention it for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
So the reason I'm saying is that the things work. You need to analyze them, believe in your technical analysis, trust your technical analysis, and then you can trade, invest with confidence.
yeah.
A lot of
Want to know
times,
something cool
yeah,
we have as well as auto fib bands. These ones draw automatically for you as time goes on. Um, but it looks like, so you can set the look back something to like, I don't know, maybe, so this is like the 10-minute chart. Let's just set it to like 2. I think that'll work. So it's pretty tight, but these ones are kind of cool if you want to just have an auto plotted Fibonacci levels automatically set for you. You see on the 10-day look back or 10-period look back, so it should be 10-minute candles in this case. Kind of cool because it's always
yeah.
kind of painting.
Ah,
It doesn't like
interesting.
repaint, so it just
Yeah.
uses steady look back and it keeps painting the Fibonacci lines. And
Yeah.
yeah, if you guys
Go
didn't know
to
too, you can also set alerts, on the clouds themselves. You can set it on these fib lines and then get alerted when price, is trading
I
around
didn't know
support
about this.
levels.
I didn't know about this tool. Nice. And I'm gonna do a giveaway tomorrow. So follow me, and I'm gonna do a giveaway of TrendSpider. I just that one was left, and of
Yeah,
course,
no, that's awesome. You
uh,
can follow Ripster using the links down below in the description. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, go show some love. It's both TrendSpider and Ripster here.
can you do you have my page, my shop page?
Yeah,
That
I can pull it up.
can you show traders that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me pull it up right now.
Well, hopefully you guys are learning something. I can't see any comments because I'm in the back. Maybe
Yeah, people are out there. But yeah, this is the Ripster Cloud page. Let me drop the link to get here again in the chat below for you guys. But basically, you can import all of Ripster's free indicators here on TrendSpider. Of course, we're using the MTF Clouds. You got the trend labels, RVOL candle labels, and then these new scanners is right here as
Yeah,
well.
only so my scanners are only on TrendSpider right now. I've been working with a lot of companies, but TrendSpider is the first ones which I started to build and up to my expectations. So they have built those MTF scanners. We are going to build more scanners. This is absolutely free, guys. My
Yeah,
system
everything here
has
is
always
free.
been free.
Yeah,
We do not sell anything. So I just want you to guys to use it and get it.
100%. And then
Yeah.
I'll show you guys the scanners too, because they're actually really, really cool. I love the way these scanners turned out. Let's see what we have popping up in the scanners right now. This one right here is the bullish cloud bounce. So it's going to find stuff trading or bouncing off of a green 1-hour cloud, the 3450. Let's see if we got anything. DT. So basically anything that's popping up in the scan will be stuff that's bouncing off of the green cloud right here. And again,
Yeah.
these scanners are only on TrendSpider right now. We have honestly the best scanner in the industry, in my opinion. I think it's very nice. One of the best
No, we're
features of
gonna
the
build.
platform.
We're going to build more on that.
Yeah.
So I have. I don't know if I could chat on X or not. We have like over 6,000 people watching on X.
Yeah. If you go into the StreamYard, well, you'd
Oh, I
have,
see it.
it
I
doesn't
see
work
it.
on the StreamYard for X, only YouTube, but
Oh, okay, gotcha,
you'd
gotcha.
have to like go onto your own X.
Well, thanks for everybody for joining impromptu. That's a good viewership for impromptu. So hopefully you guys learned something here. If you have any questions, I can answer it. Hopefully you can learn how I analyze the earnings, how I analyze the technical move after the earnings. We analyzed 3 moves and we were pretty close. We do not predict. See, one thing I'm going to tell you: we do not predict. We do not gamble the earnings. We can predict how the earnings can be, but we cannot predict um, the price action, but we can have probability. So the
Yep.
probability of something happening, and the probability was AVGO had probability of pushing higher on good earnings because it was like I repeat again, it was a all-time high breakout. Every investor is in money, 400 psychological breakout, things like that. So you can learn those concepts, and those will help you to be a better trader, be an investor. So there are many concepts I have been covering for years. So hopefully today you learned some of those things as well. TrendSpider is a very good tool. These guys are doing amazing job, and I never stream. They just invited me, and I said I came, and I'm surprised we got 6,000 people joining. So I might
Yeah,
might have
that
to
was
do more
great.
streams. Might have to do more streams. So
Yeah,
yeah, definitely get this tool. And use the Ripster Clouds, and my scanners will be all launched this festive season. Hopefully all the scanners will be up there. I will test them, and you can use those MTF cloud scanners and other
yeah.
Ripster cloud scanners as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They are live right now. So you guys can go use the link down below and import them today. Start using them. Like I just pulled up was a really good scan result here on NVIDIA. This is the other scan that's up right now. It's the red cloud rejection, the red 1 hour cloud reject. You can see rejected there on NVIDIA, and it's currently trading below. So this scanner will find constantly anytime you want setups that are doing exactly that in real time, even in after hours. So it came out really good, I think. And yeah, like Ripster said, we're going to keep building more, even more scans based on any setups that you guys want. I think the next one we're talking about is getting a scan that finds stocks breaking through these clouds, which would be really nice too. We can even build a scan, Rip, where it's like
Yeah,
breaking through this cloud and like
yeah,
trading like
that's we're gonna
below
build it.
this one. Yeah,
That's how we're gonna build it. All right, so Lulu, I mean, not waiting for tomorrow. That's your 200,
it's
200
beautiful.
breakout. That's
209.
your 204. So once we broke out of that 200, it was off to races to back to the highs. Once we broke the highs of the day, that's the next level. And live we discussed the level to hold, the level to buy, 195. So the traders in the community killing Lulu right now. Hopefully some of you
Love it.
also were able to trade it, make some lunch money with that analysis
Yeah.
there. Anything else, Mike? Any other questions? We're good to go.
Yeah, I think that was a great stream. You can head off anytime. I might stick around and stream probably maybe one of these earnings calls if people out there do want to watch them with us. I'll hop off. I'll just stream the call itself. But if you guys have
Mhm.
any questions in the chat, let us know. But yeah, I think that was great. Got to show off the clouds, your new scanners, and amazing play here on Lulu. I mean, this was a great setup overall. Using these clouds, especially, it was a pretty low risk entry right here if you use these clouds as stop loss. So, congrats to anybody that's in Lulu. That was amazing. And AVGO, both incredible. It was way better than yesterday's earnings. Oracle diving. So, yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, Rip. We definitely would love to have you on anytime. We do these live streams like several times a week usually. It's going to slow down here
Mhm.
as the holidays come up, of course, but
Yeah.
we're doing them all the time for these earnings, FOMC events, any big market events. We'll be around watching the market. So you're welcome to come on and just hit us up. We'll get it set up.
All right, guys. Take care. Thank you. So my stream ends as well, or my X stream stays on.
It'll stay on if do you want it to end? Because I might be able to switch it off, but I think it'll probably stay if that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. You can keep it
Okay.
on. And yeah, so I can have the recording, right?
Yeah, I'll get the
Okay.
recording to you for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm just gonna upload it to the you. So looks like my Lulu wearing shirt worked out.
You're wearing a Lulu shirt? Love
Yeah,
it.
you didn't notice it
There
when I talked about it. Yeah, see?
yeah, there you
Lulu.
go. There you
Yeah.
go.
All right, guys.
Well,
Take care.
all right, see
Bye.
you, man.
Bye.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. Yeah, so that was great. Got to have Ripster on the live stream. Yeah, I can do AVGO's call. I appreciate it. Han Sola. I will look into it right now. The AVGO earnings call. Get it streamed live for you guys. I see it right here. Listen to webcast. Let's see when this thing is starting. Hope you guys are out there making some money too, with some great earnings announcements. As I get logged in to the earnings call. Oh, hold on. Yeah, that should be good. I hear a loud music right now, but I don't think you guys can because I don't have my audio on yet. But yeah, I will have the AVGO earnings call streaming live here very shortly for you guys out there. And if you guys are still out there in the chat, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe because we are constantly going live for you guys, bringing on awesome guests like Ripster today. That's awesome guest. You guys, Ripster he's a great guy. He's the creator of these EMA clouds. It's honestly on most of the brokerages around. So very, very popular indicator. And he just came out the MTF clouds that are on the charts, which essentially, if I can just explain this a little bit, if you guys are curious, I'm sure a lot of Ripsters following is out there anyway. But what it does is you can change the time frames to like anything you want in the Cloud 1 and Cloud 2 EMA lines to anything you want. And no matter what time frame you're on, it'll match that time frame. So in other words, you can view the daily and the 60-minute cloud levels on the 10-minute. It's just how it works. So those longer term levels work on the lower time frames, which gives you even better support and resistance levels. And Phil Morgatti, we were talking a ton about the earnings as they were dropping. I have them still on my chart even. If you guys are just joining in, we can cover them as well. This is specifically here for AVGO. As you can see, the stock did rip up pretty nice. How much move is that anyway? That was right now they're up about 2.5%. Nothing crazy, but it was a pretty good report. You can see they beat very nice on EPS, and they also beat on revenue. 18.02 billion in revenue. The last quarter, for reference, was 15. So it was by far the highest revenue quarter Broadcom has ever reported. And then also their guidance was raised from 18.26 billion to 19 billion, which is even better. Getting good forward guidance is incredibly important. So it was amazing. Congrats to everyone holding AVGO. I know I got some shares, so I'm pretty happy about that. Let's see. So bottom line here from our good old Sidekick. By the way, if you guys didn't know what I'm using here, this is TrendSpider's Sidekick AI. All you have to do is, give it a basic prompt like do a full post earnings fundamental deep dive on AVGO from their ER report today, and it'll spit all this stuff out for you guys. You can get a trial of TrendSpider during our holiday pre-sale, which is going on right now, using the link down in the description below, and I'll drop it in the chat as well. It is a great time to pick up the platform if you're looking for a new one. And also, of course, you can use the Ripster MTF clouds with it as well. All for free. Those clouds are completely free, and the scanners. The scanners are incredible. They're live on our store. So definitely check them out. And I'm trying to see, yeah, the Broadcom earnings call starts in 17 minutes now. So if you guys have any questions until then, feel free to let me know down in the chat below. Could be about anything. We have silver up 2.89%, leading the market. Silver has been absolutely killing it today, or not even today, the past months, weeks. Bitcoin is up, gold is up. What is down today? So semis, actually, the SMH ETF are down today, even though AVGO just put in a nice move. Semiconductors are overall down. AVGO call, 17 minutes. It will be streamed live here, so don't go anywhere. Hit the subscribe button so you guys can join in on future lives as well. Yeah, we see where the money is flowing today is definitely silver and financials. Look at almost up 2% on XLF. Yeah, definitely check out the platform. Use the link down below in the chat in the description. is on a great sale right now. Tons of add-on bonuses. You get a bunch of these free Sidekick messages as well with a subscription. And Sidekick is truly amazing, you guys. I honestly can't even live without Sidekick anymore. Like, all the stuff that it can do for you is actually insane. It makes backtesting your strategies and optimizing them good. It can analyze your charts. It can, build out tables for you. You can see it plotted literally the free cash flow just from me asking. That's a beautiful free cash flow trend here from AVGO, by the way. Plotted the margins, EPS, revenue. Look at that revenue growth. Absolutely amazing. All from just a super basic prompt right there. And this isn't just like ChatGPT, you guys. Like, you can use the OpenAI API to do it, but all the stuff in here, it doesn't have access to the internet, Sidekick, which is great because it only accesses our, vetted data that TrendSpider pays for. So it has access to price data, news data, all that stuff that is accurate. It doesn't just search the internet and string stuff together. So it is by far, I think, the best trading LLM out there on the market. You guys can try it nearly for free. I mean, it's like a $9 trial to sign up. So definitely take advantage of it. Test it out today. We have tons of other features on here as well. Again, the scanner, you can back test what's happening now. AI clone. Yeah, you can build custom indicators using AI down here. You can turn those custom indicators into strategies and back test them even. We were back testing a strategy, I believe, on Tesla. Let's see if it works just as good on AVGO. This is an orb strategy. But if you go and test it on Tesla, you can see, I think it was built for Tesla. That's why it performs really well. This is like a back test that you can do, and you can just build out exactly what you want the test to do. This one in particular is an orb long setup. So if it breaks above the 15-minute opening range, close above the first candle range high, then it'll go long with 1% stop and exit before close. And it actually beats buy and hold pretty good. Pretty good. And you can view all this stuff right here. You can view the back test versus the actual equity itself. If you just bought and hold Tesla, I mean, which one would you rather have? This crazy equity curve here, or just kind of up and to the right, And so you can build your own strategies like this. And then you can even have AI help you with the strategy with this button right here to explain it. If I just click this, it's going to read your backtest results. Yes, 100% has Fibonacci. We have actually a ton of Fibonacci tools. If you look at our live from yesterday, you can actually see Trading Wars, his actual custom Fibonacci tool. We have an auto Fibonacci bands tool right here that I'll put on my chart, which automatically plots Fibonacci levels for you historically as well. And then, of course, you can just draw them like any other platform like that very easily. And I actually love our Fib tool because it snaps onto the highs and lows and makes them really easy to snap on to anything. So definitely check it out. You have pretty much anything you guys could ask for. And here is Sidekick's analysis of this Tesla strategy. It's basically saying, it's giving you how profitable it is, 46% profitable. The reward to risk ratio tells you exactly what's going on. And it tells you what you can do to improve it. So you can test it on out of sample data. You can use the price behavior explorer, which is another panel down there. And then question whether the 3 p.m. exit makes sense, which is interesting. We have the price behavior explorer here, which you can plot tons and tons of different stuff to see how your backtest is doing. And if you guys were curious into backtesting, we have an amazing support team as well. You can contact them using the contact us button right down there. And that's all part of your subscription. It's not extra to contact support or anything like that. But let's go over back to AVGO because we're going to have their earnings call live here shortly. Let's put on the after hours data here. I'll put on the 1 minute. You can see holding that MTF cloud support in the after hours session. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the TrendSpider channel if you guys are enjoying what you're seeing, because we're always doing these lives for you guys. And pretty soon, in about 11 minutes, we're going to have this Broadcom earnings call live for you guys so you can hear it in real time. If you guys are still out there in the chat, say what's up. Let me know what you guys are watching. Somebody said NVIDIA held a 180. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. Yeah, it is sitting right at 180 right now. Let's go to the 5-minute. So you can see it was actually rejecting. It was actually on the scanner. It's rejected this red cloud right here. But as someone said, is holding that 180 level, kind of making a lower high after rejecting it. So if you do follow, Ripster, you can see it's below all of the clouds. Go to like the 10-minute, which is what they normally use. You can see lots of overhead resistance here. I don't know where the top one is, but I think it's actually built in right there. So you got, several cloud resistance lines here on NVIDIA. So before you go long, you want it to break above those. Yeah, interesting stuff there. Let's take a look at AMD. AMD actually broke above its clouds today. Broke through and tested this resistance up here, as you can see in after hours on the MTF cloud indicator. Yeah, look at silver. And silver is probably just, flying above all these supports. I mean, just absolutely killing it lately, making new highs every single day. And beautiful move on AVGO. And yeah, 9 minutes until the call starts, you guys. You guys are just tuning in. You got 9 minutes till the call starts. We already analyzed AVGO, Costco, and Lulu. Let's open up the multi-symbol view here for you guys. RH also reported today. It doesn't look like it was that crazy of a move anyway, but that one did report. Costco bounced off this 872 level right here that we were looking at on the weekly time frame. And Lulu absolutely killed it. Lulu CEO announced that he's resigning, which caused this initial sell-off, but then they killed earnings and the stock ripped, and AVGO just killed earnings itself right here at 15 minutes after the bell and ripped up ever since. Costco is having some trouble, but it's honestly really kind of flat. It looks like in the after-hour session. It's down slightly, but nothing too bad. What else are you guys watching out there? Open up this market scanner while we wait. Our market scanner is very nice. You can just type stuff like find stocks that report earnings today. Find symbols now. And the AI will just go ahead and find it for you. Very easy. You just got to change the list that it searches in. I'll click today here. And then you can search through the entire NMS composites. Wow, are these all reporting earnings today? There's a lot of earnings today. We got FEIM, Love, Fizz. Isn't this like Love Sack? Rejecting the clouds there. What's up with Tesla? Tesla looks pretty good. If you're looking at it from the MTF clouds, at least it is trading above all three. Sort of broke above it today, so it's looking pretty good. If you're, want to follow the trend up, could use these levels of support as your stop losses. So Tesla looks very nice. Pulled up on the weekly, you can see it is working to break above this like 470 to 460-ish resistance. So if you are a Tesla bull, could buy now. You could wait for the breakout. Set your stop below one of those MTF clouds levels. WDC has been incredible. Absolutely insane chart here. I mean, not much to say on this one other than it looks amazing. You can see it's been falling, bouncing off the clouds all the way up. Basic trend following stuff. You can even just throw an EMA. I mean, these are EMA clouds. You throw SMAs up. I mean, there's no doubt at all that this one is trending perfectly. Anytime it pulls back to a support, it bounces back up, pulls back to a support, bounces back up, and it's just hitting new highs. Looks incredible. Almost the same exact chart there on STX. Has been another big one. Too late to get into AVGO. So, I had Tushar Shande, the creator of the stochastic RSI, and tons of indicators on TrendSpider, some trend following indicators. And I actually asked him a similar thing. It's like, you see AVGO hitting all-time highs, or not AVGO, as any stock, like WDC, for example, hitting all-time highs. Like, how do you get in these stocks, like knowing they're at all-time highs? And it feels like you're buying high, right? But he's just a huge trend follower, and he's like, it's more risky to not hop in these trends than to hop in them. As long as you have the proper risk management, you're setting a stop at whatever it may be, whether you use an SMA, whether you use the Ripster Clouds, whether you use whatever it is, as long as you have a plan to get out when the trend starts to break. His opinion, and is a very, very skilled trader, is that you hop in these trends, and as long as you manage your risk, it's riskier to not hop into this stuff than to like say, oh, I'm buying too high. I mean, yeah, you can definitely argue, maybe it's the top on AVGO, but maybe it's not. I mean, people are saying that, like for example, on WDC, probably for a long time. I mean, it just keeps going. And yeah, it just really depends how you manage your risk and how you deal with trades that go against you. You just don't want to turn into a bag holder at the end of the day. Someone said Apple moving up. Yeah, Apple looks great. You can see Apple kind of same thing, a little bit choppier, but the clouds, these MCF clouds are great. Honestly, when it's trading above all three, they flipped right here. It's been trending up. You can use whichever lines you want here as like your stop loss, for example. Like these are the daily ones right here. So they're going to be the slowest. So if you want to have your wider stops, you can use these, whatever you want. Then you can even automate your exits. Like if you're too emotional, you can create an alert at one of these lines. If it breaks through, you can just be alerted and even send an order to Signal Stack to exit the trade for you once it breaks your support level, whether it be a Fibonacci, EMA clouds, SMAs, it doesn't matter. Let's take a look again at AVGO because their earnings call is going to start here pretty soon in about 4 minutes. The AVGO call is starting in a few minutes, so we'll see what they're going to say during that call. And I'm not sure if they release too much stuff yet, other than, of course, their actual earnings and then their raised guidance so far. And you can see all this news on TrendSpider. You can see super easy right here. Broadcom shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 results and issued Q1 sales guidance above estimates. And it looks like, what is this? Adam Eckert says Broadcom stock boosted by Q4 earnings beat, AI revenue surge. We see momentum continuing in Q1. Very nice. Very nice. What else reported earnings today? LULU costs, we saw those. A lot of smaller companies down on this list. We can check the NYSE composite as well. RH, we saw CIEN. I feel like I've seen this one. CIEN. Yeah, this one's been trending amazing. I even have some of this. I don't know. But yeah, this one is hitting all-time highs on CIEN. Tickers does sound familiar. Makes sense because I'm a trend follower, and it's definitely trending to the upside here. Probably was on one of my scanners here on TrendSpider at some point. Man U. This is like Manchester United, the soccer team or football team, whatever you call it. Want to call it. Man U. Interesting chart here. Look at that. Perfect bounce off this previous support level there. Let's see if there's any other setups on the Ripster Clouds, on our Ripster Cloud scanners here. Go down to the 10-minute here. Got TSM on one. What up, Gary? SpaceX going IPO. I did hear about that. Is that confirmed? Thank you for joining, by the way. Love to see you out there, Gary. We'll have you on again soon. TAC, TransAlta, nice bounce. Why is the volume getting lower on SPY? It's because it's after hours. Not nearly as many people trade after hours. The market is closed, but we got 1 minute till the earnings call. So I'm going to stream that for you guys I'll put up all these symbols on the multi-symbol view here because I'm sure the other ones might have their calls as well at the same time. Let me see. Oh, let me actually reshare my screen. Can you guys hear that music? That means if you can, then you will be able to hear the earnings call when it starts. Here, let me. Oh, I think it's starting right now anyway. Oh, maybe not. It's kind of loud, ain't it? But it should be starting any second. Nope, this is not a black TrendSpider power vest. This is a black H&M shirt. Shout out H&M. The best cheap shirts on the market. Love them. Practically my entire closet is a bunch of plain H&M tees. Han Solo, you got to get YouTube Premium or an ad blocker. But we don't even monetize these videos, so I'm sorry that you're even getting ads on here. That's unfortunate. That's going probably straight into Google's pocket. Earnings call looks like they're 1 minute late. You guys are still around, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe because I'm about to hop off here while I play the earnings call for you guys. The Broadcom earnings call will be live. Yeah, hopefully you guys don't get ads on these. Thank you, Han Solo. Make sure you hit also subscribe. This will be the last live of this week, but we're going live again next week a couple times. I think MU earnings is next week too, which should be a lot of fun. Micron, we got Nike earnings next week, so that should be cool. FedEx as well. Earnings season is really wrapping up. That's really last week is going to be some of the last of the earnings, and then it's going to be pretty quiet for about a month or so. We should get FOMC minutes at some point at the end of December. And then, quarter one and like in January, they start coming back in. Crazy how fast earnings season comes and goes, isn't it? I mean, we're already going to be getting what? Let's see. AMD, Google, all those guys reporting in like a month and a half or so, coming up super quick. We got Apple at the end of next month, January. We got Tesla as well, Microsoft, I feel like I was just live for them. I mean, I guess it's like a month and a half. We kind of just were, but feels like it comes quick. Yeah, you're probably right. I figured this earnings call is going to be starting by now. So I just left the music, but apparently they're 3 minutes late. This is like the latest I've ever seen an earnings call start. I used to own MU, Gary. Not anymore. I got out and took my profit. Yeah. Love it, right? That thumbnail. It's not Elon. That's the Broadcom CEO. Should be. Yeah, it's not Elon. What's the AVGO CEO's name again? It's Hawk Tan. No, not paper hands. Come on. I guess yeah. I made out pretty well on MU. I probably got stopped out around there.
Of Broadcom's
Oh, here we go.
During the prepared remarks, Hawk and Kirsten will be providing details of our fourth quarter and fiscal year 2025 results,
Call is starting.
guidance for our
Enjoy,
first
you guys.
quarter of
I'm gonna
fiscal
hop
year
off so you guys can listen.
2026, as well as commentary regarding the business environment. We'll take questions after the end of our prepared comments. Please refer to our press release today and our recent filings with the SEC for information on the specific risk factors that could cause our actual results to differ materially from the forward-looking statements made on this call. In addition to U.S. GAAP reporting, Broadcom reports certain financial measures on a non-GAAP basis. A reconciliation between GAAP and non-GAAP measures is included in the tables attached to today's press release. Comments made during today's call will primarily refer to our non-GAAP financial results. I'll now turn the call over to Hawk.
Thank you, G. And thank you everyone for joining us today. Well, we just ended our Q4 fiscal 25. And before I get into details of that quarter, let me recap the year. In our fiscal 2025, consolidated revenue grew 24% year over year to a record $64 billion, and it's driven by AI semiconductors and VMware. AI revenue grew 65% year over year to $20 billion, driving the semiconductor revenue for this company to a record $37 billion for the year. In our infrastructure software business, strong adoption of VMware Cloud Foundation, or VCF as we call it, drove revenue growth of 26% year on year to $27 billion. In summary, 2025 was another strong year for Broadcom, and we see the spending momentum by our customers in AI continuing to accelerate in 2026. Now let's move on to the results of our fourth quarter 2025. Total revenue was a record $18 billion, up 28% year on year, and above our guidance on better than expected growth in AI semiconductors, as well as infrastructure software. Q4 consolidated adjusted EBITDA was a record $12.12 billion, up 34% year on year. So let me give you more color on our two segments. In semiconductors, revenue was $11.1 billion as year on year growth accelerated to 35%. And this robust growth was driven by the AI semiconductor revenue of $6.5 billion, which was up 74% year on year. And this represents a growth trajectory exceeding 10 times over the 11 quarters we have reported this line of business. Our custom accelerated business more than doubled year over year as we see our customers increase adoption of XPUs, as we call those custom accelerators, in training their LLMs and monetizing their platforms through inferencing APIs and applications. These XPUs, I might add, are not only being used to train and inference internal workloads by our customers. The same XPUs in some situations are being extended externally to other LLM peers. Best exemplified at Google, where the TPUs used in creating Gemini are also being used for AI cloud computing by Apple, Cohere, and SSI as a sample. And the scale at which we see this happening could be significant. And as you are aware, last quarter, Q3 25, we received a $10 billion order to sell the latest TPU Ironwood racks to Anthropic. And this was our fourth customer that we mentioned. And in this quarter, Q4, we received an additional $11 billion order from this same customer for delivery in late 2026. But that does not mean our other two customers are using TPUs. In fact, they prefer to control their own destiny by continuing to drive their multi-year journey to create their own custom AI accelerators or XPU racks, as we call them. And I'm pleased today to report that during this quarter, we acquired a fifth XPU customer through a $1 billion order placed for delivery in late 2026. Now, moving on to AI networking. Demand here has even been stronger as we see customers build out their data center infrastructure ahead of deploying AI accelerators. Our current order backlog for AI switches exceeds $10 billion as our latest 102 terabit per second Tomahawk 6 switch, the first and only one of its capability out there, continues to book at record rates. And this is just a subset of what we have. We have also secured record orders on DSPs, optical components like lasers, and PCI Express switches to be deployed, all to be deployed in AI data centers. And all these components combined with our XPUs bring our total order on hand in excess of $73 billion today, which is almost half Broadcom's consolidated backlog of $162 billion. We expect this $73 billion in AI backlog to be delivered over the next 18 months. And in Q1 fiscal 26, we expect our AI revenue to double year on year to $8.2 billion. Turning to non-AI semiconductors, Q4 revenue of $4.6 billion was up 2% year on year and up 16% sequentially based on favorable wireless seasonality. Year on year, broadband showed solid recovery. Wireless was flat, and all the other end markets were down as enterprise spending continued to show limited signs of recovery. And so accordingly, in Q1, we forecast non-AI semiconductor revenue to be approximately $4.1 billion, flat from a year ago, down sequentially due to wireless seasonality. Let me now talk about our infrastructure software segment. Q4 infrastructure software revenue of $6.9 billion was up 19% year on year, above our outlook of 6.7. Bookings continued to be strong as total contract value booked in Q4 exceeded $10.4 billion versus $8.2 billion a year ago. We ended the year with $73 billion of infrastructure software backlog, up from $49 billion a year ago. We expect renewals to be seasonal in Q1 and forecast infrastructure software revenue to be approximately $6.8 billion. We still expect, however, that for fiscal 26, infrastructure software revenue to grow low double digits percentage. So here's what we see in 2026. Directionally, we expect AI revenue to continue to accelerate and drive most of our growth, and non-AI semiconductor revenue to be stable. Infrastructure software revenue will continue to be driven by VMware growth at low double digits. And for Q1 26, we expect consolidated revenue of approximately $19.1 billion, up 28% year on year. And we expect adjusted EBITDA to be approximately 67% of revenue. And with that, let me turn the call over to Kirsten.
Thank you, Hock. Let me now provide additional detail on our Q4 financial performance. Consolidated revenue was a record $18 billion for the quarter, up 28% from a year ago. Gross margin was 77.9% of revenue in the quarter, better than we originally guided on higher software revenues and product mix within semiconductors. Consolidated operating expenses were $2.1 billion, of which $1.5 billion was research and development. Q4 operating income was a record $11.9 billion, up 35% from a year ago. Now, on a sequential basis, even as gross margin was down 50 basis points on semiconductor product mix, operating margin increased 70 basis points sequentially to 66.2% on favorable operating leverage. Adjusted EBITDA of $12.2 billion, or 68% of revenue, was above our guidance of 67%. This figure excludes $148 million of depreciation. Now a review of the P&L for our two segments, starting with semiconductors. Revenue for our Semiconductor Solutions segment was a record $11.1 billion, with growth accelerating to 35% year on year, driven by AI. Semiconductor revenue represented 61% of total revenue in the quarter. Gross margin for our Semiconductor Solutions segment was approximately 68%. Operating expenses increased 16% year on year to $1.1 billion on increased investment in R&D for leading-edge AI semiconductors. Semiconductor operating margin of 59% was up 250 basis points year on year. Now moving to infrastructure software. Revenue for infrastructure software of $6.9 billion was up 19% year on year and represented 39% of total revenue. Gross margin for infrastructure software was 93% in the quarter, compared to 91% a year ago. Operating expenses were $1.1 billion in the quarter, resulting in infrastructure software operating margin of 78%. This compares to operating margin of 72% a year ago, reflecting the completion of the integration of VMware. Moving on to cash flow. Free cash flow in the quarter was $7.5 billion and represented 41% of revenue. We spent $237 million on capital expenditures. Day sales outstanding were 36 days in the fourth quarter, compared to 29 days a year ago. We ended the fourth quarter with inventory of $2.3 billion, up 4% sequentially. Our days of inventory on hand were 58 days in Q4, compared to 66 days in Q3, as we continue to remain disciplined on how we manage inventory across the ecosystem. We ended the fourth quarter with $16.2 billion of cash, up $5.5 billion sequentially on strong cash flow generation. The weighted average coupon rate in years to maturity of our gross principal fixed rate debt of $67.1 billion is 4% and 7.2 years, respectively. Turning to capital allocation. In Q4, we paid stockholders $2.8 billion of cash dividends based on a quarterly common stock cash dividend of 59 cents per share. In Q1, we expect the non-GAAP diluted share count to be approximately 4.97 billion shares, excluding the potential impact of any share repurchases. Now let me recap our financial performance for fiscal year 2025. Our revenue hit a record $63.9 billion, with organic growth accelerating to 24% year on year. Semiconductor revenue was $36.9 billion, up 22% year over year. Infrastructure software revenue was $27 billion, up 26% year on year. Fiscal 2025 adjusted EBITDA was $43 billion and represented 67% of revenue. Free cash flow grew 39% year on year to $26.9 billion. For fiscal 2025, we returned $17.5 billion of cash to shareholders in the form of $11.1 billion of dividends and $6.4 billion in share repurchases and elimination. Aligned with our ability to generate increased cash flows in the preceding year, we are announcing an increase in our quarterly common stock cash dividend in Q1 fiscal 2026 to 65 cents per share, an increase of 10% from the prior quarter. We intend to maintain this target quarterly dividend throughout fiscal 26, subject to quarterly board approval. This implies our fiscal 2026 annual common stock dividend to be a record $2.60 per share, an increase of 10% year on year. I would like to highlight that this represents the 15th consecutive increase in annual dividends since we initiated dividends in fiscal 2011. The board also approved an extension of our share repurchase program, of which $7.5 billion remains through the end of calendar year 2026. Now moving to guidance. Our guidance for Q1 is for consolidated revenue of $19.1 billion, up 28% year on year. We forecast semiconductor revenue of approximately $12.3 billion, up 50% year on year. Within this, we expect Q1 AI semiconductor revenue of $8.2 billion, up approximately 100% year on year. We expect infrastructure software revenue of approximately $6.8 billion, up 2% year on year. For your modeling purposes, we expect Q1 consolidated gross margin to be down approximately 100 basis points sequentially, primarily reflecting a higher mix of AI revenue. As a reminder, consolidated gross margins through the year will be impacted by the revenue mix of infrastructure software and semiconductors, and also product mix within semiconductors. We expect Q1 adjusted EBITDA to be approximately 67%. We expect the non-GAAP tax rate for Q1 and fiscal year 2026 to increase from 14% to approximately 16.5% due to the impact of the global minimum tax and shift in geographic mix of income compared to that of fiscal year 2025. That concludes my prepared remarks. Operator, please open up the call for questions.
Thank you. To ask a question, you will need to press star 11 on your telephone. To withdraw your question, press star 11 again. Due to time restraints, we ask that you please limit yourself to one question. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster. Our first question will come from the line of Vivek Arya with Bank of America. Your line is open.
Thank you. Just wanted to clarify, Hock, you said $73 billion over 18 months for AI. That's roughly $50-ish billion plus for fiscal 26 for AI. I just wanted to make sure I got that right. And then the main question, Hock, is that there is sort of this emerging debate about customer-owned tooling. Your racing customers potentially wanting to do more things on their own. How do you see your XPU content and share at your largest customer evolve over the next 1 or 2 years? Thank you.
Well, to answer your first question, what we said is correct, that as of now, we have $73 billion of backlog in place, secured, of XPUs, switches, DSPs, lasers for AI data centers that we anticipate shipping over the next 18 months. And obviously, this is as of now. I mean, we fully expect more bookings to come in over that period of time. And so don't take that 73 as that's the revenue we ship over the next 18 months. We're just saying we have that now, and then the bookings has been accelerating. And frankly, we see that bookings not just in XPUs, but in switches, DSPs, all the other components that go into AI data center. We have never seen bookings of the nature that what we have seen over the past 3 months, particularly with respect to Tomahawk 6 switches. This is one of the fastest growing products in terms of deployment that we ever seen of any switch product that we put out there. It is pretty interesting, and partly because it's the only one of its kind out there at this point, at 102 terabits per second, and that's the exact product needed to expand the clusters of the latest GPU and XPUs out there. So that's great. But as far as what is the future as XPU is your broader question, my answer to you is don't follow what you hear out there as gospel. It's a trajectory, it's a multi-year journey, and many of the players, and not too many players doing LLMs, wants to do their own custom AI accelerator for very good reasons. You can put in hardware what if you use a general purpose GPU, you can only do in software and kernels in software. You can achieve performance-wise so much better in a custom purpose designed hardware-driven XPU. And we see that in the TPU, and we see that in all the accelerators we are doing for our other customers. Much better in areas of sparse core, training, inference, reasoning, all that stuff. Now, will that mean that over time they all want to go do it themselves? Not necessarily. And in fact, because the technology in silicon keeps updating, keeps evolving. And if you are an LLM player, where do you put your resources in order to compete in this space? Especially when you have to compete at the end of the day against merchant GPU, who are not slowing down in their rate of evolution. So I see that as this concept of customer tooling is an overblown hypothesis, which frankly, I don't think will happen.
Thank you.
Moment for our next question. And that will come from the line of Ross Seymour with Deutsche Bank. Your line is open.
Hi, thanks for letting me ask a question. Hock, I wanted to go to something you touched on earlier about the TPUs going a little bit more to like a merchant go-to-market to other customers. Do you believe that's a substitution effect for customers who otherwise would have done ASICs with you, or do you think it's actually broadening the market? And so what are kind of the financial implications of that from your perspective?
That's a very good question, Ross. And what we see right now is the most obvious move it does is it goes the people who use say TPUs, the alternative is GPUs, merchant basis. That's the most common thing that happens. Because to do that substitution for another custom, that's different. To make an investment in custom accelerator is a multi-year journey. It's a strategic directional thing. It's not necessarily a very transactional or short-term move. Moving from GPU to TPU is a transactional move. Going into AI accelerator of your own is a long-term strategic move, and nothing will deter you from that to continue to make that investment towards that end goal of successfully creating and deploying your own custom AI accelerator. So that's the motion we see.
Thank you.
And that will come from the line of Harlan Sur with JP Morgan.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for taking my question, and congratulations on the strong results, guidance, and execution. Hock, again, I just want to sort of verify this, right? So you talked about total AI backlog of $73 billion over the next 6 quarters, right? This is just a snapshot of your order book, like right now. But given your lead times, I think customers can and still will place orders for AI in quarters 4, 5, and 6. So as time moves forward, that backlog number for more shipments in second half of 26 will probably still go up, right? Is that the correct interpretation? And then, given the strong and growing backlog, right, the question is, does the team have 3 nanometer, 2 nanometer wafer supply, CoWoS, substrate, HBM supply commitments to support all of the demand in your order book? And I know one of the areas where you are trying to mitigate this is in advanced packaging, right? You're bringing up your Singapore facility. Can you guys just remind us what part of the advanced packaging process the team is focusing on with the Singapore facility? Thanks.
Thanks. Well, to answer your first simpler question, you're right. You can say that $73 billion is the backlog we have today to ship over the next 6 quarters. You might also say that, and given our lead time, we expect more orders to be able to be absorbed into our backlog for shipments over the next 6 quarters. So take it that we expect revenue, a minimum revenue, one way to look at it, of $73 billion over the next 6 quarters, but we do expect much more as more orders come in for shipments within that next 6 quarters. See, our lead time, depending on the particular product it is, can be anywhere from 6 months to a year. With respect to supply chain, is what you're asking, critical supply chain on silicon and packaging. Yeah, that's an interesting challenge that we have been addressing constantly and continue to. And with the strength of the demand and the need for more innovative packaging, advanced packaging, because you're talking about multi-chips in creating every custom accelerator now, the packaging becomes a very interesting and technical challenge. And building our Singapore fab is to really talk about partially in-sourcing those advanced packaging. We believe that we have enough demand, we can literally in-source, not from the viewpoint of not just costs, but in the viewpoint of supply chain security and delivery. And we're building up a fairly substantial facility for packaging, advanced packaging in Singapore, as you indicated, purely for that purpose, to address the advanced packaging side. Silicon-wise, no, we go back to the same precious source in Taiwan, TSMC. And so we keep going for more and more capacity in 2 nanometers, 3 nanometers. And so far, we do not have that constraint. But again, time will tell as we progress and as our backlog builds up.
Thank you, Hock.
One moment for our next question. The next question will come from the line of Blayne Curtis with Jefferies. Your line is open.
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for taking my question. I wanted to ask, with the original $10 billion deal, you talked about a rack sale. I just wanted to, with the follow-on order as well as the 5th customer, can you just maybe describe how you're going to deliver those? Is it an XPU or is it a rack? And then maybe you can kind of just walk us through the math and kind of what the deliverable is. You know, obviously, Google uses its own networking, so I'm kind of curious too, would it be a copy exact of what Google does? Now you could talk to it to name or would you have your own networking in there as well? Thanks.
That's a very complicated question, Blaine. Let me tell you what it is. It's a system sale. How about that? It's a real system sale. We have so many components beyond XPUs, custom accelerators in any system, in AI system, any AI system used by hyperscalers that, yeah, we believe it begin to make sense to do it as a system sales and be responsible, but be fully responsible for the entire system or rack, as you call it. I think people understand it as a system sale better. And so on this customer number 4, we are selling it as a system with our key components in it. And that's no different than selling a chip. We certify and final ability to run as part of the whole selling process.
Okay, thanks, Hock.
One moment for our next question. And that will come from the line of Stacy Rasgon with Bernstein. Your line is open.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my question. I wanted to touch on gross margins, and maybe it feeds into a little bit the prior question. So I understand why the AI business is somewhat diluted to gross margins. We have the HBM pass-through, and then presumably with the system sales, that will be more diluted. And you've hinted at this in the past, but I was wondering if you could be a little more explicit. As this AI revenue starts to ramp, as we start to get system sales, how should we be thinking about that gross margin number, say, if we're looking out, 4 quarters or 6 quarters? Is it low 70s? I mean, could it start with a 6 at the corporate level? And I guess I'm also wondering, I understand how that comes down, but what about the operating margins? Do you think you get enough operating leverage on the OpEx side to keep operating margins flat, or do they need to come down as well?
I'll let Kirsten give you the details, but enough for me to broadly, high level, explain to you, Stacy. Good question. Phenomenal. Is you don't see that impacting us right now, and we have already started that process of some system sales. You don't see that in our numbers, but it will. And we have said that openly. The AI revenue has a lower gross margin than obviously, the rest of our business, including software, of course. But we expect the rate of growth as we do more and more AI revenue to be so much that we get the operating leverage on our operating spending, that operating margin will deliver dollars that are still a high level of growth from what it has been. So we expect operating leverage to benefit us at the operating margin level, even as gross margin will start to deteriorate, high level.
No, I think Hock said that fairly. And the second half of the year, when we do start shipping more systems, the situation is straightforward. We'll be passing through more components that are not ours. So think of it similar to the XPUs, where we have memory on those XPUs, and we're passing through those costs. We'll be passing through more costs within the rack. And so those gross margins will be lower. However, overall, the way Hock said it, gross margin dollars will go up, margins will go down, operating margins, because we have leverage, operating margin dollars will go up, but the margin itself as a percentage of revenues will come down a bit. But we're not, we'll guide closer to, the end of the year for that.
Got it. Thank you, guys.
One moment for our next question. That will come from the line of Jim Schneider with Goldman Sachs. Your line is open.
Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my question. Hock, was wondering if you might care to calibrate your expectations for AI revenue in fiscal 26 a little bit more closely. I believe you talked about acceleration in fiscal 26 off of the 65% growth rate you did in fiscal 25, and then you're guiding to 100% growth for Q1. So I'm just wondering if the Q1 is a good jumping off point for the growth rate you expect for the full year, or something maybe a little bit less than that. And then maybe if you could separately clarify whether your $1 billion of orders for the 5th customer is indeed OpenAI, which you made a separate announcement about. Thank you.
Wow, there's a lot of questions here. But let me start off with 26. our backlog is very dynamic these days, as I said, and it is continuing to ramp up. And you're right. We originally, 6 months ago, said maybe year on year AI revenues would grow in 26, 60, 70%. Q1, we double. And Q1 26 today, we're saying it's double. And when we're looking at it, because all the fresh orders keeps coming in, and we give you a milestone of where we are today, which is 73 billion of backlog to be shipped over the next 18 months. And we do fully expect, as I answered the earlier question, for that 73 billion over the 18 months to keep growing. Now, it's a moving target, it's a moving number as we move in time, but it will grow. And it's hard for me to pinpoint what 26 is going to look like precisely. So I'd rather not give you guys any guidance, and that's why we don't give you guidance, but we do give it for Q1. Give it time, we'll give it for Q2, and you're right, to us, is it an accelerating trend? And my answer is, it's likely to be an accelerating trend as we progress through 26. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
One moment for our next question. And that will come from the line of Ben Reitzes with Melius Research. Your line is open.
Yeah, hey guys, thanks a lot. Hey, Hock. I wanted to ask, I'm not sure if the last caller said something on it, but I didn't hear it in the answer, wanted to ask about the OpenAI contract. That it's supposed to start in the second half of the year and go through 2029 for 10 gigawatts. I'm going to assume that that's the fifth customer order there. And I was just wondering if you're still confident in that being a driver. Are there any obstacles to making that a major driver? And when you expect that to contribute and your confidence in it? Thanks so much, Hock.
You didn't hear that answer from my last caller, Jim's question, because I didn't answer it. I did not answer it, and I'm not answering it either. It's the fifth customer, and it's a real customer, and it will grow. They are on their multi-year journey to their own XPUs, and let's leave it at that. As far as the OpenAI view that you have, we appreciate the fact that it is a multi-year journey that will run through 29, as our press release with OpenAI showed. 10 gigawatts between 26, more like 27, 28, 29, Ben, not 26. It's more like 27, 28, 29, 10 gigawatts. That was the OpenAI discussion. And that's, I call it an agreement, an alignment of where we're headed with respect to a very respected and valued customer, OpenAI. But
that's real interesting.
We do not expect much in 26.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. That's real interesting. Appreciate it.
One moment for our next question. And that will come from the line of CJ Muse with Cantor Fitzgerald. Your line is open.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for taking the question. I guess, Hock, I wanted to talk about custom silicon and maybe speak to how you expect content to grow for Broadcom generation to generation. And as part of that, your competitor announced CPX offering essentially accelerator for an accelerator for massive context windows. I'm curious if you see it a broadening opportunity, for your existing 5 customers to have multiple XPU offerings. Thanks so much.
Thank you. No, yeah, you hit it right on. I mean, the nice thing about a custom accelerator is you try not to do one size fits all and generationally. Each of these 5 customers now can create their version of chip of an XPU, a custom accelerator for training and inference. and it's almost two parallel tracks going on almost simultaneously for each of them. So I would have plenty of versions to deal with. I don't need to create any more versions. We got plenty of different content out there just on the basis of creating these custom accelerators. And by the way, when you do custom accelerators, you tend to put more hardware in that are unique, differentiated, versus trying to make it work on software and creating kernels into software. I know that's very tricky too, but think about the difference where you can create in hardware those sparse core data routers versus the dense matrix multipliers, all in one same chip. And that's just one example of what creating custom accelerators is letting us do. Or for that matter, a variation in how much memory capacity or memory bandwidth for the same customer from chip to chip, just because even in inference, you want to do more reasoning versus decoding versus something else like pre-fill. So you literally start to create different hardware for different aspects of how you want to train or inference and run your workloads. It's a very fascinating area, and we are seeing a lot of variations and multiple chips for each of our customers.
Thank you.
One moment for our next question. And that will come from the line of Harsh Kumar with Piper Sandler. Your line is open.
Yeah, Hock and team, first of all, congratulations on some pretty stunning numbers. I've got an easy one and a more strategic one. The easy one is your guide in AI, Hock and Kirsten, is calling for almost 1.7 billion of sequential growth. I was curious, maybe you could talk about the diversity of the growth between the three existing customers. Is it pretty well spread out, all of them growing, or is one sort of driving much of the growth? And then, Hock, strategically, one of your competitors bought a photonic fabric company recently. I was curious about your take on that technology and if you think it's disruptive or you think it's just gimmickry at this point in time.
I like the way you address this question, the way that you address the question to me is almost hesitant. Thank you. I appreciate that. But on your first part, yeah, we're driving growth, and it begins to feel like this thing never ends. And it's a real mixed bag of existing customers and on existing XPUs, and a big part of it is XPUs that we're seeing. And that's not to slow down the fact that, as I indicated in my remarks and commented on, the demand for switches, not just among 6, among 5 switches, the demand for our latest 1.6 terabit per second DSPs that enables optical interconnects for scale out, particularly. It's just very, very strong. And by extension, demand for the optical components like lasers, pin diodes, just going nuts. All that come together. Now, all that is small, relatively lesser dollars when it comes to XPUs, as you probably guess. I mean, to give you a sense, maybe let me look at it on a backlog side. Of the 73 billion of AI revenue backlog over the next 18 months, I talk about maybe 20 billion of it is everything else. The rest is XPUs. Hope that gives you a sense for what the mix is. But that's not to say that the rest is still 20 billion. That's not small by any means. So we value that. So when you talk about your next question of silicon photonics and as a means to create basically much better, more efficient, lower power interconnects in not just scale out, but hopefully scale up, Yeah, I could see a point in time in the future when silicon photonics matters as the only way to do it. We're not quite there yet, but we have the technology and we continue to develop the technology. And even as each time we develop it first for 400 gigabit bandwidth, going on to 800 gigabit bandwidth, not ready for it yet. Now, and even we have the product, and we now are doing it for 1.6 terabit bandwidth to create silicon photonics switches, silicon photonics interconnects. Not even sure it will get fully deployed because, you know, our engineers, our peers, and the peers we have out there will somehow try to find a way to still try to do scale up within a rack in copper as long as possible, and in scale out in, you know, pluggable optics. The final straw is when you can't do it well in pluggable optics, and of course, when you can't do it even in copper, then you're right, you go to silicon photonics, and it will happen, and we're ready for it. Just saying, not anytime soon.
Thank you, Hawk.
One moment for our next question. That will come from the line of Karl Ackerman with BNP Paribas. Your line is open.
Yes, thank you. Hawk, could you speak to the supply chain resiliency and visibility you have with your key material suppliers, particularly CoWoS, as you not only support your existing customer programs, but the two new custom compute processors that you announced inter-quarter? I guess what I get at is you also happen to address the very large subset of networking and compute AI supply chains. You talked about record backlog. If you were to pinpoint some of the bottlenecks that you have, the areas that you're aiming to address and mitigate some supply chain bottlenecks, what would they be, and how do you see that ameliorating into 26? Thank you.
It's across the board, typically. I mean, we are very fortunate in some ways that we have the product technology and the operating business lines to create multiple key leading edge components that enables today's state-of-the-art AI data centers. I mean, our DSP, as I said earlier, is now at 1.6 terabit per second. That's the leading edge connectivity for bandwidth for the top of the heap, XPU and even GPU, and we intend to be that way. And we have the lasers, EMLs, VCSELs, CW with lasers that goes with it. So it's fortunate that we have all this and the key active components that go with it. And we see it very early, and we expand the capacity as we do the design to match it. And this is a long answer to what I'm trying to get at, which is, I think we are of any of these data center suppliers of the system racks, not counting the power shell and all that. Now that starts to get beyond us on the power shell and the transformers and the gas turbines. If you just look at the racks, the systems on AI, we probably have a good handle on where the bottlenecks are, because sometimes we are part of the bottlenecks, which we then work to get to resolve. So we feel pretty good about that through 2026.
Thank you.
One moment for our next question. That will come from the line of Christopher Rowland with Susquehanna. Your line is open.
Hi, thanks for the question. Just first a clarification and then my question. And sorry to come back to this issue, but if I understand you correctly, Hawk, I think you were saying that OpenAI would be a general agreement, so it's not binding maybe similar to the agreements with both NVIDIA and AMD? And then secondly, you talked about flat non-AI semiconductor revenue. Maybe what's going on there? Is there still an inventory overhang, and what do we need to get that going again? Do you see growth eventually in that business? Thank you.
Well, on the non-AI semiconductor, we see broadband literally recovering very well. And we don't see the others. No, we see stability. We don't see a sharp recovery that is sustainable yet. So I guess given a couple more quarters, but we don't see any further deterioration in demand. And it's more, I think maybe the AI is sucking the oxygen a lot out of enterprise spending elsewhere and hyperscaler spending elsewhere. We don't see it getting any worse. We don't see it recovering very quickly, with the exception of broadband. That's a simple summary of non-AI. With respect to OpenAI, no, without diving into Dave, I'm just telling you what that 10 gigawatt announcement is all about. Separately, the journey with them on the custom accelerator progresses at a very advanced stage and will happen very, very quickly. And it will have a committed element to this whole thing. And that won't. But what I was articulating earlier was the 10 gigawatt announcement. And that 10 gigawatt announcement is an agreement to be aligned on developing 10 gigawatts for OpenAI over 27 to 29 time frame. That's it. That's different from the XPU program we're developing with them.
I see. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we do have time for one final question, and that will come from the line of Joe Moore with Morgan Stanley. Your line is open.
Great. Thank you very much. So if you have $21 billion of rack revenue in the second half of 26, I guess, do we stay at that run rate beyond that? Are you going to continue to sell racks, or does that type of business make shift over time? And I'm really just trying to figure out the percentage of your 18-month backlog that's actually full systems at this point.
Well, it's an interesting question. And that question basically comes to how much compute capacity is needed by our customers over the next, as I say, over the period beyond 18 months. And your guess is probably as good as mine based on what we all know out there, which is really what it relates to. But if they need more, then you see that continuing even larger. If they don't need it, then probably it won't. But as of what we're trying to indicate is that's the demand we're seeing over that period of time right now.
Thank you.
I would now like to turn the call back over to GU for any closing remarks.
Thank you, operator. This quarter, Broadcom will be presenting at the New Street Research Virtual AI Big Ideas Conference on Monday, December 15th, 2025. Broadcom currently plans to report its earnings for the first quarter of fiscal year 2026 after close of market on Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. A public webcast of Broadcom's earnings conference call will follow at 2 p.m. Pacific. That will conclude our earnings call today. Thank you all for joining. Operator, you may end the call.
This concludes today's program. Thank you all for participating. You may now disconnect.